You are the operant power in your world. You and you alone are the architect of your life experiences. The world you see around you with all its joys and sorrows, triumphs and challenges is but an outward reflection of your inner state of consciousness. It is a mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you the sum total of your beliefs, assumptions, and imaginal acts. Now you might ask, but Neville, how can this be? Surely the world exists independently of my thoughts and feelings. To this I say, the world as you perceive it exists nowhere but in your consciousness. Your senses may tell you otherwise, may insist on the solidity and unchangeable nature of your circumstances, but I tell you this is an illusion, a shadow play cast by the light of your own imagination. Consider for a moment, when you dream at night, do you not experience a world that feels every bit as real as your waking life? Do you not interact with people, places, and situations that seem to exist independently of your will? And yet, upon waking, you recognize that entire world was created within your own mind. So too is it with what you call your waking reality. The great secret then is this: your imagination is the very workshop in which you forge your life experiences. Every event, every circumstance, every person in your life is there because you have imagined them into being, whether consciously or unconsciously. This is the true meaning of the biblical phrase, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But let us delve deeper into this truth. When we speak of focusing on yourself and your dreams, we are not talking about mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. No, we are speaking of a far more potent and transformative practice, the art of living from the end. To live from the end means to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It means to enter in your imagination into the state of consciousness you would occupy if your desire were already a present fact. This is not about visualizing a future event, but about experiencing here and now the reality of your fulfilled desire. Let me give you an example to illustrate this principle. Suppose you desire financial abundance. The common approach would be to focus on the process of acquiring wealth, working harder, saving more, investing wisely. But this approach keeps you rooted in the consciousness of lack, of not yet having what you desire. Instead, I urge you to ask yourself, how would I feel if I motioned financially abundant? What would my inner conversations be like? How would I carry myself? What thoughts would occupy my mind throughout the day? Then, having identified these feelings and states of mind, your task is to assume them now in your present reality. You see, my dear friends, the secret is not to think about your desire, but to think from the state of its fulfillment. This is the true meaning of prayer, not beseeching an external deity for favors, but aligning your consciousness with the reality you wish to experience. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, this sounds like self-deception. How can I feel wealthy when my bank account tells me otherwise? To this I say, your senses show you only the effects, never the causes of your reality. By persisting in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are operating on the causal level of existence. And the outer world must, by law, reorganize itself to match your new inner state. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being, you are. And what you are, you create. This is the true meaning of the biblical injunction to be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. By renewing your mind, that is, by consistently assuming the state of consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you transform your entire world. But let us be clear, this is not about escaping reality or denying your present circumstances. It is about understanding the true nature of reality as a malleable, responsive substance that conforms to your dominant mental states. It is about recognizing your power as a created being and wielding that power consciously and deliberately. Now you might ask, how do I begin this practice of living from the end? How do I focus on myself and my dreams in this way? The answer lies in the use of your imagination, that divine gift that sets you apart as a creative being in this universe. Each night, as you lay your head upon your pillow, I want you to enter a state of relaxation. Let the cares and concerns of your day fall away. Then with your inner eye, construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Engage all your senses in this imaginal act. If your desire is for a loving relationship, feel the warmth of your beloved's embrace. Hear their voice whispering words of affection. Smell their familiar scent. Make the scene as real and as natural as any memory of a natural event. If your dream is of professional success, see yourself in your ideal work environment. Feel the satisfaction of a job well done. Hear the congratulations of your colleagues. Experience the pride and fulfillment of living your purpose. Whatever your desire may be, construct a scene that implies its fulfillment. Then enter into that scene. Do not watch it as a spectator, but participate in it fully. Be there in your imagination, experiencing the joy and satisfaction of your wish fulfilled. As you fall asleep, carry this feeling with you. Let it be the last thing in your consciousness as you drift off to slumber. For in sleep, when your conscious mind is at rest, these impressions sink deep into your subconscious, the fertile soil from which all your future experiences will grow. But do not limit this practice to your nighttime reveries. Throughout your day, whenever you have a quiet moment, return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let it color your mood, influence your posture, inform your inner conversations. Remember, my friends, your inner conversations are incredibly powerful. They are the backdrop against which your life unfolds. Most people carry on these inner dialogues unconsciously, rehashing past hurts or worrying about future problems. But you, armed with this knowledge, can consciously direct your inner talking to align with your desires. If you desire health, do not engage in inner conversations about illness or weakness. Instead, hear yourself saying, I am vibrantly healthy and full of energy. If you seek financial abundance, let your inner voice declare, I am abundantly provided for in every way. These inner conversations, persistently maintained, will transform your world. For whatever you consent to in your mind, whatever you feel to be true, must outpicture itself in your reality. This is the law of your being, as unalterable as any law of physics. Now some of you may be wondering, but what about action? Surely we must do something in the outer world to realize our dreams. To this I say, inspired action will flow naturally from your assumed state. When you truly live in the end, when you fully embody the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally and effortlessly taking the steps that lead to its manifestation. This is the meaning of the biblical phrase, the vision has its own appointed hour, it ripens, it will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure, and it will not be late. Your only task is to hold fast to the vision, to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The how, the when, and the where of its manifestation are not your concern. Trust in the perfect unfolding of your desire, guided by a wisdom far greater than your own. Let me share with you a personal experience to illustrate this principle. Many years ago, when I first arrived in New York City, I had the burning desire to speak at town hall. Now, at that time, I was unknown, with no connections and no apparent means of realizing this dream. But instead of focusing on these seeming obstacles, I chose to live from the end. Each night, as I fell asleep, I would imagine myself standing on the stage at town hall. I felt the solid wood beneath my feet. I saw the sea of faces before me, heard the rustle of the audience, felt the satisfaction of sharing my message with eager listeners. I lived in this state, feeling it to be true, despite all evidence to the contrary in my waking hours. And then, my friends, the outer world began to conform to this inner conviction. Within a matter of weeks, through a series of events that seemed entirely accidental, I found myself invited to speak at town hall. The very scene one had enacted in my imagination came to pass in the outer world, down to the smallest detail. This, my dear friends, is the power that lies within you. This is the creative force of your own wonderful human imagination. It is not limited by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. It is bound only by your capacity to believe in the reality of your imaginal acts. Now, let us address a common concern that arises when people first encounter these teachings. Many worry that by focusing on themselves and their own desires, they are being selfish or neglecting their duties to others. Nothing could be further from the truth. You see, my friends, you cannot give what you do not have. By focusing on your own growth, your own dreams, your own expansion, you are increasing your capacity to be of service to others. As you transform your own consciousness, you elevate the consciousness of all those around you. Remember the words of the Master, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." The kingdom of God is not a place in space or time, but a state of consciousness. It is the state of knowing yourself to be one with the creative power of the universe. When you seek this state first, when you prioritize the alignment of your consciousness with your desires, everything else falls naturally into place. Moreover, as you begin to experience the fruits of this practice in your own life, you become a living testament to the power of imagination. Your very being becomes an inspiration to others, showing them what is possible when one takes control of their inner world. But let me caution you, this work requires persistence and faith. You may not see immediate results in your outer world. The seed you plant in your imagination needs time to germinate and grow. During this period, you may face doubts, both from within yourself and from others. This is where the real test of your faith comes in. Can you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled even when your senses deny it? Can you remain loyal to your vision, even when the outer world seems to contradict it? This is the mark of a true master of faith. Remember the biblical story of Abraham, who was promised countless descendants when he was old and childless. Against all odds, against all evidence of his senses, he persisted in his faith. He dared to believe in the reality of that which was not yet manifest. And in due time, his faith was rewarded. So too must you persist in your imaginal acts, in your assumption of the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Do not waver, do not doubt, do not give in to the temptation to judge by appearances. Hold fast to your vision, knowing that what you are conscious of being, you must become. Now let us delve deeper into the mechanics of this practice. When you focus on yourself and your dreams in the way I am describing, you are engaging in a profound act of self-love and self-respect. You are declaring to the universe, and more importantly to your own subconscious mind, that you are worthy of your desires. This act of self-affirmation is crucial. Many people sabotage their own success because deep down, they do not believe they deserve it. They may go through the motions of pursuing their dreams, but their inner conviction tells a different story. By consistently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind. You are overwriting old patterns of lack, limitation, and unworthiness with new patterns of abundance, possibility, and deservingness. This is why it's so important to make your imaginal acts as vivid and as real as possible. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the outer world. By presenting it with vivid, persistent images of your desired reality, you are training it to accept this new reality as fact. And once your subconscious accepts something as fact, it works tirelessly to bring it into manifestation. It influences your perceptions, your decisions, your actions, all to align with this new accepted reality. This is the power of your subconscious mind. And by learning to work with it rather than against it, you unlock truly limitless potential. But remember, my friends, this is not about forcing or straining. The kingdom of heaven is not taken by violence. Your imaginal acts should be playful, joyful, natural. They should feel like slipping into a comfortable, familiar state rather than an arduous exercise of will. Think of a child at play, fully immersed in their imaginary world. They do not doubt the reality of their imaginings. They do not strain to believe. They simply are what they imagine themselves to be, fully and without reservation. This is the state you must cultivate in your own imaginal work. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of action in this process. Surely you might think I can't just sit around imagining all day. Don't I need to do something to make my dreams a reality? To this I say, right action will flow naturally from your assumed state. When you truly live in the end, when you fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally inspired to take the steps that lead to its manifestation. These actions will not feel like hard work or struggle. They will feel natural efforts, almost inevitable. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time, saying the right words, making the right decisions, all as a natural outflow of your assumed state. This is the true meaning of the phrase, the signs follow. They do not precede. The outer actions are not the cause of your success, but the effect of your inner transformation. They are the shadow cast by the light of your imagination. Let me give you another example from my own life to illustrate this principle. When I first began giving lectures on these truths, I had a deep desire to reach a wider audience. I imagined myself speaking to large crowds, sharing these teachings with people from all walks of life. Now, I did not go out and frantically advertise or promote myself. I did not strain or struggle to make this happen. Instead, I lived from the end. In my imagination, I saw myself standing before packed auditoriums. I felt the joy of sharing these truths with eager listeners. I experienced the satisfaction of knowing my message was reaching and transforming lives. And then, my friends, the outer world began to conform to this inner conviction. Opportunities began to present themselves. Invitations to speak at larger venues started to come in. People began to spread the word about my lectures. All of this happened naturally, effortlessly, as a result of my inner work. This is the power that lies within you, my dear friends. This is the creative force of your own wonderful human imagination. It is not limited by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. It is bound only by your capacity to believe in the reality of your imaginal acts. Now let us address another common concern that arises when people first encounter these teachings. Many worry about the ethical implications of this practice. They ask if I can imagine anything into being. What's to stop me from using this power for selfish or harmful ends? To this, I say, the very nature of this practice precludes its misuse. For when you truly enter into the state of your wish fulfilled, when you fully embody the consciousness of your desire, you are aligning yourself with the highest good. You see, my friends, at the deepest level of our being, we all desire the same things: love, joy, peace, fulfillment. When you imagine from this place of your highest self, you naturally align with these universal desires. Your imaginings become not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of all. Moreover, as you practice this art of imagining, you will find your desires naturally refining themselves. What once seemed important may fall away as you connect more deeply with your true self. Your imaginings will become purer, more aligned with your highest good and the highest good of all. This is the true meaning of the phrase, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." As you align your consciousness with your highest self, with the creative power of the universe, Everything else falls naturally into place. Now, my friends, I want to address a question that often arises when I share these teachings. People ask, but Neville, what about the suffering in the world? What about those who are oppressed, impoverished, or ill? Are you saying they have imagined this for themselves? This is a profound question, and it deserves a thoughtful answer. First, let me be clear, this teaching is not about blame or judgment. It is about empowerment. It is about recognizing the creative power that lies within each of us and learning to use it consciously. You see, most people are not aware of the power of their imagination. They do not realize that their inner assumptions and beliefs are shaping their outer reality. They are imagining unconsciously, often focusing on what they fear or what they lack, rather than on what they desire. Moreover, we are all influenced by the collective consciousness of our society, our culture, our time. Many of the limitations and sufferings we experience are the result of collectively held beliefs and assumptions. But here's the wonderful truth. Just as we have imagined these conditions into being, we can imagine something different. We can change our individual consciousness, and in doing so, contribute to changing the collective consciousness. This is the true meaning of being the change you wish to see in the world. By focusing on yourself, by imagining a better reality for yourself, you are not being selfish. You are contributing to the elevation of all humanity. You are adding your light to the sum of light. Remember, my friends, consciousness is the only reality. The world you see around you is a reflection of consciousness, both individual and collective. By changing your consciousness, by persistently imagining a better reality, you are literally changing the world. This work of imagination is not separate from practical action in the world. Rather, it informs and inspires that action. When you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally taking the steps that lead to its manifestation. You will be guided by an inner wisdom that far surpasses mere intellect. So I urge you, my dear friends, to take up this practice with all seriousness. Make it the central focus of your life. Every night as you fall asleep, and every morning as you wake, enter into the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel it, live it, believe in it with all your heart. Throughout your day, whenever you have a quiet moment, return to this state. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Let it become the new normal for you. For what you persist in imagining, you must eventually experience. Remember, the time it takes for your imaginal act to become your physical reality is directly proportionate to the naturalness of the state. The more natural it feels to you, the more quickly it will manifest. This is why persistence is key. You are forming new neural pathways, new patterns of thought and feeling. In closing, I want to remind you of this fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness is the creative force that shapes your reality. By focusing on yourself and your dreams, by living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you are stepping into your true power as a creative being. Go forth then and create boldly. Imagine lovingly. Live fully in the consciousness of your fulfilled desires. For in doing so, you are not only transforming your own life, but contributing to the transformation of all humanity. You are fulfilling your divine purpose as a co-creator in this magnificent universe. Thank you, and may your imagination guide you to the fulfillment of all your dreams. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract everything they desire, while others struggle despite endless effort? The answer lies not in what you're doing, but in where you're placing your attention. Today I'm going to share with you the profound science of manifestation that has been proven in our laboratories. Our research has uncovered something remarkable about human consciousness. When you focus your attention on something specific, you activate neural networks that literally reshape your brain's architecture. But here's what's fascinating. This reshaping isn't limited to your physical brain. Think about the last time you intensely desired something. Our studies show that in that moment, you were generating electromagnetic fields that extended far beyond your physical body. These fields interact with the quantum fabric of reality itself. The laboratory data reveals something extraordinary. When you maintain focused attention on a specific outcome for just 3 minutes, you trigger what we call manifestation sequences in your nervous system. These sequences create measurable changes in your brain chemistry. Our consciousness research demonstrates that what we focus on literally alters our DNA expression. When you direct your attention toward what you want rather than what you don't want, you activate dormant genetic potentials associated with enhanced creation abilities. No. Now, going back to our study, this old awesome thought. Consider this profound discovery from our studies. Your cells are constantly listening to your internal dialogue. Every thought you think creates biochemical changes that either support or inhibit your natural ability to attract what you desire. The brain imaging research shows something fascinating. When you maintain focused attention on your desired reality, you activate what we call quantum coherent networks. These networks synchronize your brain waves with the frequency of what you want to attract. Now, our studies on consciousness reveal that when you persist in holding your attention on a specific outcome, you generate what we call probability fields that actually influence future events. This isn't measurable quantum mechanics. I think about this remarkable finding from our laboratory research. When you focus intensely on what you want to create, you enter what we call manifestation states. In these states, your brain produces specific frequencies that harmonize with similar frequencies in your environment. The data from our cellular studies shows that when you maintain consistent focus on your desired reality, you literally reprogram your body's electromagnetic field. This field extends several feet beyond your physical form and influences the quantum field around you. Our research on neural plasticity demonstrates something extraordinary. When you direct your attention toward what you want to experience, you create new neural pathways that support the manifestation of those experiences. Consider this fascinating discovery. When you focus on specific outcomes with emotional intensity, you generate what we call resonance patterns that attract similar frequencies into your experience. This is pure physics, not philosophy. The speech continues exploring various aspects of focused attention and manifestation. Through scientific understanding and practical application, the neuroscience of attention reveals something profound. When you focus intensely on your desired reality, you activate what we call creation circuits in your brain. These circuits generate electromagnetic frequencies that extend into the quantum field. Our laboratory studies demonstrate that every thought you maintain creates ripples in the fabric of space-time. When you persist in focusing on specific outcomes, these ripples become waves of probability that influence future events. Think about this remarkable discovery. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between what you're experiencing and what you're imagining with emotional intensity. This means you're constantly broadcasting frequencies that attract corresponding experiences. The research on consciousness shows that when you maintain unwavering focus on what you desire, you enter what we call manifestation zones, states where the gap between thought and reality collapses. Our brain imaging studies reveal something extraordinary. When you direct your attention towards specific outcomes, you activate dormant areas of your brain associated with enhanced creation abilities. Consider this fascinating finding. Your cells are continuously responding to the frequency of your focused attention. When you maintain concentration on what you want to experience, you literally alter your biological expression. The data from our quantum research demonstrates that focused attention generates what we call probability fields. These fields interact with the quantum fabric of reality, increasing the likelihood of specific outcomes materializing. Our studies on neural coherence show that when you persist in holding your attention on desired experiences, you create measurable changes in your brain's electromagnetic field that extend far beyond your physical form. Think about this profound discovery. When you focus intensely on specific outcomes, you trigger what we call synchronicity sequences in your nervous system. These sequences align your internal frequency with what you want to attract. The research on cellular intelligence reveals that your body's trillions of cells respond instantly to where you place your attention. This response creates biochemical changes that either support or inhibit your natural manifestation abilities. He's building something, power manifestation. Consider this remarkable finding from our laboratory studies. When you maintain focused attention on what you want to create, you generate what we call quantum resonance patterns that attract similar frequencies into your experience. Our consciousness research shows that every thought you think creates ripples in the quantum field. When you persist in focusing on specific outcomes, these ripples become waves of probability that influence future events. Think about this extraordinary discovery. Your nervous system broadcasts specific frequencies based on where you place your attention. These frequencies interact with the quantum field, attracting experiences that match their vibration. The data from our brain study reveals that when you maintain unwavering focus on your desired reality, you activate what we call manifestation networks, neural pathways that support the materialization of specific outcomes. Now, research on cellular memory demonstrates that every cell in your body responds to the frequency of your focused attention. This response creates measurable changes in your electromagnetic field that influence probability itself. Consider this fascinating finding. When you direct your attention toward what you want to experience, you generate what we call coherence fields that extend several feet beyond your physical form. The studies on consciousness show that your focused attention creates specific brainwave patterns. These patterns interact with the quantum field, increasing the likelihood of desired experiences manifesting in your reality. Think about this profound discovery from our laboratory research. When you maintain consistent focus on specific outcomes, you trigger what we call probability cascades that influence future events in measurable ways. Our latest research reveals something extraordinary. When you maintain unwavering focus on your desired reality, you activate what we call quantum attraction networks in your brain. These networks generate specific frequencies that shape future probabilities. Think about this remarkable discovery. Every moment of focused attention creates ripples in the quantum field. When these ripples align with your desired outcome, they become powerful waves of manifestation energy. The laboratory studies show that when you persist in directing your attention toward specific experiences, you enter what we call creation states, periods where the boundary between thought and reality becomes increasingly permeable. Our consciousness research demonstrates that focused attention generates electromagnetic fields that extend up to 30 feet beyond your physical form. These fields interact with the quantum fabric of reality in measurable ways. Consider this fascinating finding. When you maintain consistent focus on what you want to experience, you trigger what we call synchronicity sequences in your nervous system. These sequences align your internal frequency with external possibilities. The brain imaging data reveals something profound. Focused attention activates dormant areas of your brain associated with enhanced manifestation abilities. These areas generate specific frequencies that attract corresponding experiences. Our studies on cellular intelligence show that every cell in your body responds instantly to where you place your attention. This response creates biochemical changes that influence your ability to attract desired outcomes. Think about this extraordinary discovery. When you direct your attention towards specific experiences, you generate what we call probability fields that interact with the quantum fabric of reality itself. The research on neural coherence demonstrates that focused attention creates measurable changes in your brain's electromagnetic field. These changes influence the likelihood of specific outcomes materializing in your experience. Consider this remarkable finding from our laboratory studies. When you maintain unwavering focus on your desired reality, you activate what we call manifestation circuits that support the materialization of specific outcomes. Our consciousness research reveals that every thought you maintain creates specific frequency patterns. These patterns interact with the quantum field, attracting experiences that match their vibration. Think about this profound discovery. Your nervous system broadcasts electromagnetic frequencies based on where you place your attention. These frequencies extend into the quantum field, influencing future probabilities. The data from our brain studies shows that when you persist in focusing on specific outcomes, you trigger what we call quantum resonance patterns that attract similar frequencies into your experience. Our research on cellular memory demonstrates that focused attention creates measurable changes in your electromagnetic field. These changes influence the probability of desired experiences manifesting in your reality. Consider this fascinating finding. When you maintain consistent focus on what you want to experience, you generate what we call coherence fields that extend several feet beyond your physical form. The studies on consciousness show that your focused attention creates specific brainwave patterns. These patterns interact with the quantum field, increasing the likelihood of desired experiences materializing. Think about this extraordinary discovery from our laboratory research. When you direct your attention towards specific outcomes, you trigger what we call manifestation sequences that influence future events in measurable ways. Our research on neuroplasticity reveals that focused attention creates new neural pathways that support the materialization of desired experiences. These pathways become stronger with consistent use. The quantum mechanics of focused attention reveals something remarkable. When you maintain concentrated awareness on your desired reality, you activate what we call creation frequencies in your nervous system. These frequencies ripple through the fabric of space-time itself. Our laboratory findings demonstrate that when you persist in holding your attention on specific outcomes, you generate what we call manifestation fields that extend into the quantum realm. These fields influence probability at the subatomic level. Think about this profound discovery. Every sustained thought creates specific electromagnetic patterns. When these patterns align with your desired experience, they become powerful attractors in the quantum field. The research on consciousness shows that focused attention triggers what we call synchronicity cascades, sequences of events that appear random but are actually responding to your internal frequency. Consider this fascinating finding. When you maintain unwavering focus on what you want to experience, you enter what we call quantum coherence states, where thought and reality begin to merge. Our brain imaging studies reveal that focused attention activates dormant neural networks associated with enhanced manifestation abilities. These networks generate specific frequencies that shape future possibilities. The data from our cellular research demonstrates that every cell in your body responds to the frequency of your focused attention, creating biochemical changes that influence your attraction field. Think about this extraordinary discovery. When you direct your attention towards specific outcomes, you generate what we call probability waves that interact with the quantum fabric of reality. Our studies on neuroplasticity show that focused attention creates new pathways in your brain that support the materialization of desired experiences. These pathways strengthen with consistent use. Consider this remarkable finding. When you maintain concentrated awareness and on your desired reality, you activate what we call resonance fields that attract corresponding experiences into your life. The research on consciousness reveals that every thought you hold creates specific frequency patterns. These patterns extend into the quantum field, influencing future probabilities. How do we learn and shift our frequency? Think about this profound discovery. Your nervous system broadcasts electromagnetic frequencies based on where you place your attention. These frequencies interact with the quantum field in measurable ways. Our laboratory studies show that when you persist in focusing on specific outcomes, you trigger what we call manifestation sequences that influence the likelihood of desired experiences materializing. The data from our brain research demonstrates that focused attention creates measurable changes in your electromagnetic field. These changes extend several feet beyond your physical form. Consider this fascinating finding. When you maintain consistent focus on what you want to experience, you generate what we call quantum attraction patterns that draw similar frequencies into your reality. Our studies on cellular intelligence reveal that focused attention creates biochemical changes that either support or inhibit your natural manifestation abilities. Think about this extraordinary discovery. When you direct your attention toward specific outcomes, you activate what we call creation networks that influence future events in measurable ways. The research on neural coherence shows that focused attention generates specific brainwave patterns. These patterns interact with the quantum field, increasing the probability of desired experiences manifesting. Our latest quantum research reveals something transformative. When you maintain pure focus on your desired reality, you activate what we call manifestation potential that exists in every particle of your being. These particles respond instantly to your attention. Consider this final revelation. The electromagnetic field of your focused attention extends into dimensions beyond time and space. In these dimensions, everything exists in a state of pure possibility, waiting for your attention to give it form. The laboratory studies confirm that in the last moments before manifestation, you enter what we call quantum resonance, a state where your internal frequency perfectly matches the frequency of your desire. This is the moment of transformation. Think about this culminating discovery. Your focused attention creates a bridge between potential and reality. When you maintain this bridge through unwavering concentration, possibilities collapse into experience. Our consciousness research shows that in the final phase of manifestation, you generate what we call coherence waves that ripple through the quantum field, bringing your desired reality into physical form. Remember this fundamental truth. You are not separate from what you observe. Your attention is the force that shapes the quantum field into tangible experience. This is not theory. This is proven quantum mechanics. The data from our final studies reveals that when you maintain absolute clarity of focus, you enter what we call creation consciousness, a state where thought and reality become one unified field. Consider this closing insight. Every moment contains infinite potential, waiting for your focused attention to give it direction. Your attention is the key that unlocks these infinite possibilities. In these concluding moments, understand that you are not just observing reality. You are creating it through your focused attention. Every thought you maintain shapes the quantum field into corresponding experience. And so I leave you with this final truth. Your attention is your most powerful tool for creating reality. Use it wisely, direct it consciously, and watch as the universe rearranges itself to match the picture in your mind. Remember, what you focus on expands, what you think about manifests, and what you give your attention to grows. This is not philosophy. This is the science of consciousness itself. Your journey of conscious creation begins now. Every moment is a new opportunity to direct your attention toward what you want to experience. The quantum field awaits your instructions. Trust in the process, maintain your focus, and watch as your reality transforms to match your internal vision. This is your natural power. Use it consciously, use it wisely, and use it now. My dear friends, imagine yourself in a garden of your own creation. This garden is your mind and the flowers that bloom. Here are your thoughts, your beliefs, and your reactions to the world around you. Now picture a weed sprouting among your carefully tended roses. This weed represents a person, a situation, or a circumstance that no longer serves your highest good. What do? Do you fight it, argue with it, or treason reason with it? No, my beloved. You simply cut it off, silently, effortlessly, without reaction. For in this world of Caesar, we are bombarded with stimuli that seek to provoke us, to elicit a reaction, to draw us into the drama of the external. But I say unto you, the power lies not in reacting, but in your capacity to remain unmoved, to cut off that which does not align with your desired state of being. Remember, the whole vast world is no more than man's imagining pushed out. If you react to every provocation, every slight, every perceived injustice, you are giving life to that which you do not desire. You are watering the weeds in your garden, allowing them to flourish and choke out the beauty you wish to cultivate. But when you choose not to react, when you cut off silently that which does not serve you, you are exercising the divine power within you. You are declaring to the universe, this has no place in my world. And the universe, my friends, has no choice but to conform to your imagination. For you are the operant power. Consider the words of Scripture, be still, and know that I am God. This stillness, this non-reaction is not passive. It is the most powerful action you can take. For in your stillness, you are affirming your true nature as the God of your reality. When you find yourself tempted to react, to defend, to explain, or to justify, well, take a deep breath and remember who you truly are. You are not a mere mortal buffeted by the winds of circumstance. You are the dream of this dream we call life. And just as in a night dream, you have the power to change the scene, to alter the script, to cut off silently that which does not belong in your ideal state. Imagine for a moment that you are watching a play. The actors on stage are performing their roles, some to your liking, others not. Now would you leap onto the stage, arguing with the actors, trying to change their performance? Of course not. You would simply watch, knowing that it is all a play, a grand illusion. This, my dear friends, is how you must view your life. When someone attempts to provoke you, to pull you into their drama, see it for what it is, a play, a dream, an illusion. Do not react. Do not give it the power of your attention or your emotion. Instead, in your imagination, calmly and silently cut them off. Remove them from your stage. For you are the author of this play, the dreamer of this dream. But Neville, you might say, how can I simply cut off those who upset me? They are my family, my colleagues, my neighbors. To this I say, you are not cutting off the person, but the state they represent in your world. You are cutting off the version of them that does not align with your ideal. In doing so, you allow space for a new version to emerge, one that is in harmony with your desires. Remember, an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. If you persist in the assumption that you must react to every provocation, that you are at the mercy of others' behaviors, then this will become your reality. But if you assume the state of one who is unmoved by external circumstances, who cuts off silently all that does not serve, then this too will harden into fact. Think of the great masters throughout history. Did they react to every criticism, every attack? No, they remained steadfast in their conviction, silent in their power. They understood that to react is to give power to that which you oppose. To cut off silently is to reclaim your power, to assert your dominion over your world. In your daily life, practice this art of non-reaction. When someone speaks harshly to you, do not retaliate. When circumstances seem to go against you, do not complain. Instead, in your imagination, see yourself rising above it all, untouched and unmoved. Feel the peace that comes with this state of being. For in your non-reaction and your silent cutting off, you are declaring, Ani Father One. This practice may seem challenging at first. The world of Caesar has conditioned us to react, to defend, to fight. But I tell you, this is the way of the old man. We are called to put on the new man, to claim our divine inheritance as creators of our reality. And in this new state, we do not fight against what we do not want. We simply remove it from our consciousness. Imagine a room in your mind. In this room are all the people, situations, and circumstances of your life. Now see yourself as the master of this room. You have the power to rearrange it as you see fit. Those elements that do not belong in your ideal state, simply and silently remove them. Do not argue with them. Do not try to change them. Simply escort them out of your mental room. This, my friends, is the art of cutting off silently. It is not done with malice or anger, but with the calm assurance of one who knows their true identity. For you are not a mere mortal subject to the whims of others. You are a divine being creating your reality moment by moment through your imagination. But Neville, you might ask, what if these people or situations persist in my physical reality? To this I say, persist in your new assumption. Remember, the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. As you maintain your inner stillness, as you consistently cut off in your imagination that which does not serve you, the outer world has no choice but to conform. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. His brothers sought to harm him, to provoke him. But Joseph did not react. He cut them off silently in his consciousness, holding fast to his vision of greatness. And in time, his outer world conformed to his inner conviction. His brothers who once sought to destroy him came to bow before him. This, my beloved, is the power that lies within you. The power to remain unmoved, to cut off silently all that does not align with your ideal state. It is not a power that fights against the unwanted, but a power that simply removes it from your consciousness, leaving no room for it to manifest in your world. As you go about your day, practice this art. When someone cuts you off in traffic, resist the urge to react. Instead, in your imagination, see yourself gliding smoothly to a destination, unperturbed by the actions of others. When a colleague speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself. In your mind, cut off this version of your colleague, replacing it with one who respects and admires you. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. All that you experience in the outer world is but a reflection of your inner state. By refusing to react, by cutting off silently that which does not serve you, you are shaping your consciousness. And as your consciousness changes, so too must your world. This practice requires vigilance, my friends. The world of Caesar will constantly attempt to throw you back into reaction, into Jodiaman. But stand firm in your conviction. Know that you are the operant power in your reality. No one and nothing can provoke you without your consent. Imagine for a moment a pond. When a stone is thrown into the pond, it creates ripples that disturb the entire surface. This is what happens when you react to the provocations of the world. But now imagine that same pond, its surface as smooth as glass. When a stone is thrown, it simply sinks to the bottom, leaving the surface undisturbed. This is the state of consciousness you are called to embody. In your silence, in your non-reaction, you are declaring to the universe, I am unmoved by the illusions of the world. I stand firm in my true identity as the creator of my reality. And the universe has no choice but to conform to this declaration. But my dear friends, understand that this practice of cutting off silently is not about suppressing your emotions or denying yourself. It is about rising above them, transcending the level at which they occur. It is about shifting your identity from the reactive human to the guide of the divine. When you find yourself tempted to react, to argue, to defend, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, who am I? Am I this reactive being buffeted by the winds of circumstance? Or am I the creator of my reality, the master of my world? As you affirm your true identity, You will feel it easier to cut off silently all that does not align with your ideal state. Consider the example of Jesus when he was brought before peace. The world expected him to react, to defend himself against the false accusations. But what did he do? He remained silent. He cut off the entire drama silently, knowing that it was but an illusion, a play in the world of Caesar. He stood firm in his true identity, unmoved by the provocations around him. This, my beloved, is the power you are called to embody. The power to stand in the midst of chaos unmoved and unshaken. The power to cut off silently all that does not serve your highest good. For in doing so, you are declaring your mastery over your world. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on a mountaintop. Below you, you can see the dramas and conflicts of the world playing out. But from your vantage point, they seem small, insignificant. This is the perspective you must cultivate. Rise above the petty provocations of the world. View them from the mountaintop of your divine consciousness. From this elevated state, cutting off silently becomes effortless. You no longer feel the need to engage with that which does not serve you. You simply remove it from your consciousness, knowing that what you do not energize with your attention cannot persist in your world. But remember, my friends, this practice is not about escaping the world or hiding from its challenges. It is about mastering the world, about claiming your divine power as the creator of your reality. It is about being in the world, but not of it, as the scripture says. As you go about your day, be vigilant. Notice the moments when you feel compelled to react, to defend, to argue. These are the opportunities to practice your divine power. In these moments, pause. Take a deep breath. Remember who you truly are. And then silently and effortlessly cut off that which does not align with your ideal thought. Imagine yourself as a grand sculptor chiseling away at the marble of your life. Each act of cutting off silently is a stroke of your chisel, removing that which does not belong in your masterpiece. With each stroke, your true self, your ideal state, emerges more clearly. This practice, my dear friends, is the key to mastering your world. For when you no longer react to the provocations of the external, when you cut off silently all that does not serve you, you are truly free. You are no longer a slave to circumstances, but the master of your destiny. Consider the words of Scripture, be in the world, but not of the world. This is the state you are called to embody. You are here in this world of Caesar, but you are not bound by its rules, its dramas, its provocations. You are of a higher order, a divine being temporarily clothed in human form. As you practice this art of cutting off silently, you will begin to notice a change in your world. Those who once provoked you will find themselves transformed in your presence. Circumstances that once seemed challenging will resolve themselves from cease. For you are no longer feeding these unwanted elements with your reaction, your attention, your energy. Imagine a garden once more, but this time, see yourself as the gardener. With calm assurance, you move through your garden humor, cutting away the weeds, pruning the overgrowth, shaping the landscape to match your vision. This is how you must move through your life. Calmly, silently cutting away all that does not belong in your ideal state. But remember, my beloved, this cutting off is not done with anger or resentment. It is done with love, with the understanding that all is you pushed out. Even those elements you choose to remove are part of you, playing their role in your grand awakening. Thank them silently for their service, and then release them from your consciousness. As you master this practice, you will find yourself moving through the world with a new sense of peace, a new sense of power. The dramas and conflicts that once seemed so important will fade into insignificance. You will stand unmoved in the center of your world, the calm eye in the storm of life. But do not mistake this state for passivity, my friends. This is the most active, most powerful state you can embody. For in your non-reaction, in your silent cutting off, you are actively shaping your world. You are exercising your divine right as the creator of your reality. Imagine for a moment that you are the director of a grand play. The actors come to you, asking how they should perform their roles. But instead of giving them direction, you simply remove from the stage those whose performance does not align with your vision. This is how you must direct the play of your life. Not by trying to change or control others, but by simply removing from your consciousness that which does not serve your ideal. As you practice this art, you may find that some around you do not understand. They may try to provoke you, to pull you back into the old patterns of reaction. But stand firm in your new state. Remember, you are saved by your assumption. Assume the state of one who is unmoved by external provocations, who cuts off silently all that does not serve, and this state will become your reality. Consider the example of a mighty oak tree. When the winds blow, does the oak fight against them? Does it react to every gust? No, it stands firm, rooted deep in the earth, unmoved by the temporary chaos around it. This, my dear friends, is how you must stand in your world, rooted deep in the knowledge of your true identity, unmoved by the winds of circumstance. As you move through your day, be aware of the temptations to react, to engage with that which does serve you. These temptations will come, for the world of Caesar is designed to provoke, to elicit reaction. But in these moments, remember who you truly are. Remember your power to cut off silently, to remove from your consciousness all that does not align with your ideal state. Imagine yourself as a projector, casting the film of your life onto the screen of the world. When an unwanted scene appears, do you argue with the screen? Do you try to change the image by manipulating the projection? No, you simply change the film in the projector. This, my beloved, is how you must view your life. Do not try to change the outer world directly. Change your inner film, your consciousness, and the outer world will have no choice but to conform. As you master this practice, you will find that your world begins to transform. Those who once provoked you will find themselves transformed in your presence. Circumstances that once seemed challenging will resolve themselves with ease, for you are no longer feeding these unwanted elements with your reaction, your attention, your energy. But remember, this transformation does not happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and above all, faith. Faith in your true identity as the creator of your reality. Faith in your power to cut off silently all that does not serve you. Faith that as you change your consciousness, your world must change to match it. Consider the words of Scripture. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. As you practice cutting off silently, you may not see immediate results in your outer world, but have faith, my dear friends. Know that with each act of non-reaction, with each silent removal of the unwanted from your consciousness, you are shaping your world at the deepest level. Imagine a sculptor once more, chiseling away at a block of marble. With each stroke of the chisel, the unwanted falls away, revealing the masterpiece within. But this revealing takes time. It requires patience and persistence. So too with your life. Each act of cutting off silently is a stroke of your chisel, revealing the masterpiece of your ideal state. As you go about your day, be vigilant. Notice the moments when you feel compelled to react, to defend, to argue. These are the opportunities to practice your divine power. In these moments, pause, take a deep breath. Remember who you truly are. And then silently and effortlessly, cut off that which does not align with your ideal state. But my dear friends, understand that this practice is not about suppressing your emotions or denying your experiences. It is about rising above them, transcending the level at which they occur. It is about shifting your identity from the reactive human to the creative divine. When you find yourself tempted to react, to argue, to defend, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, who am I? Am I this reactive being buffeted by the winds of circumstance? Or am I the creator of my reality, the master of my world? As you affirm your true identity, you will find it easier to cut off silently all that does not align with your ideal state. Remember, an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. If you persist in the assumption that you are unmoved by external provocations, that you have the power to cut off silently all that does not serve you, then this will become your reality. The world around you will have no choice but to conform to your new state of consciousness. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in a room full of mirrors. Each mirror reflects a different aspect of your life, your relationships, your work, your health, your finances. Now see you're turning away from these mirrors, closing your eyes, and imagining the perfect reflection in each area of your life. As you open your eyes, the mirrors have changed to reflect your inner vision. This, my beloved, is how you must view your world. Turn away from the unwanted reflections, cut them off silently in your mind, and hold fast to your vision of the ideal. As you practice this art of non-reaction, of cutting off silently, you may find that it becomes easier with time. What once provoked a strong reaction may barely register in your consciousness. This is a sign of your growing mastery, your deepening understanding of your true identity as the creator of your reality. But do not become complacent, my dear friends. The world of Caesar is ever ready to pull you back into old patterns of reaction. Stay vigilant. Continue to practice your art of silent removal of non-reaction. For it is through this constant practice that you solidify your new state of being. Consider the words of Scripture. Put off the old man with his deeds, and put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. This putting off of the old man, this putting on of the new, is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process and a daily practice of cutting off silently all that does not align with your true divine self. As you move through your world, be aware of the subtle ways in which you may be tempted to react. It may not always be obvious provocation. Sometimes it may be a gentle pull to engage in gossip, to complain about circumstances, to judge others. But remember, all of these are forms of reaction, ways of giving power to that which you do not desire in your world. In these moments, practice your art. Cut off these tendencies silently in your mind. See yourself rising above them, unmoved and unaffected. For in your non-reaction, in your silent removal of the unwanted, you are declaring your mastery over your world. Imagine yourself as a king or queen, seated on the throne of your consciousness. From this elevated position, you observe the dramas and conflicts of your kingdom. But instead of engaging with them directly, you simply decree their removal. This, my beloved, is how you must rule your world. Not through force or reaction, but through the calm, silent exercise of your divine authority. As you practice this art, you may find that others begin to notice a change in you. They may comment on your newfound peace, your unshakable calm. Do not be swayed by their observations, whether positive or negative. Remember, you are not doing this for the approval of others, but for the alignment of your outer world with your inner ideal. Consider the example of a master pianist. When a wrong note is played, does the pianist stop and argue with the piano? Does he react with frustration or anger? No, he simply continues playing, allowing the correct notes to naturally replace the wrong ones. This is how you must move through your life. When the wrong notes of circumstance are played, do not react. Simply continue to play the melody of your ideal state, knowing that the harmony of your world must eventually align with your inner song. But remember, my dear friends, this practice of cutting off silently is not about creating a perfect problem-free life. It is about maintaining your center, your true identity, regardless of external circumstances. It is about being in the world, but not of it, as the Scripture says. As you go about your day, be aware of the many opportunities to practice your art. Each provocation, each unwanted circumstance is not a problem to be solved, but an opportunity to affirm your mastery. See these moments as gifts, chances to strengthen your understanding of who you truly are. Imagine a vast ocean. On the surface, waves crash and storms rage. But deep below, in the depths of the ocean, all is calm and still. This is how you must be in your world. Let the surface events of your life crash and storm, if they will, but maintain your deep, unshakable calm. For it is from this depth that you exercise your true power to shape your reality. As you master this practice, you will find that your world begins to reflect your inner state more and more. Those who once provoked you may find themselves inexplicably drawn to your calm presence. Circumstances that once seemed challenging may resolve themselves with surprising ease. For you are no longer feeding these elements with your reaction, your attention, your energy. But do not become attached to these outer changes, my beloved. Remember, your power lies not in controlling the outer world, but in mastering your inner state. Continue to practice your art of cutting off silently, of non-reaction, regardless of what appears in your outer world. For it is your consistent inner state that ultimately shapes your reality. Consider the words of Scripture, the kingdom of God is within you. This kingdom is your consciousness, your inner world. As you rule this inner kingdom with wisdom and non-reaction, cutting off silently all that does not serve your highest good, your outer world must conform, reflect your inner mastery. As we conclude this discourse, my dear friends, remember that the practice of cutting off silently, of not reacting, is not a passive state. It is the most powerful, most active state you can embody. For in your silence, in your non-reaction, you are exercising your divine right as the creator of your reality. Go forth into your world with this new understanding. Practice your art of silent removal of non-reaction. Know that with each moment of calm in the face of provocation, with each silent cutting off of the unwanted, you are shaping your world at the deepest level. You are declaring your true identity as the master of your reality, the author of your life story. And above all, have faith. Faith in your true identity. Faith in your power to shape your world through your consciousness. Faith that as you maintain your inner calm, as you cut off silently all that does not serve you, your outer world must inevitably align with your inner ideal. For you are not mere mortals subject to the whims of circumstance. You are divine beings, creators of your reality. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding. And watch as your world transforms to reflect the majesty of your true self.
Let's begin with this profound truth. The world you see before you is nothing more than the outward picture of your inner assumptions. Every doubt you harbor, every limitation you accept is but a shadow cast by your own consciousness. Tonight I want to share with you the most transformative principle that has ever been revealed to man. The principle that your consciousness is the one and only reality. When you truly grasp this, you will understand why doubting yourself is the greatest sin against your divine nature. Let me tell you something extraordinary about your desires. The very fact that you can conceive a desire means you possess the capacity to achieve it. For desire is nothing but your destiny seeking expression through you. It's God's promise, awaiting your acceptance. You see, most of you sit here tonight harboring doubts about your abilities, your worth, your potential. But I tell you this, these doubts are merely images you have accepted as facts. They are no more real than the shadows on a wall. The only power they possess is the power you have given them through your acceptance. Consider for a moment what you really want in life. Feel it deeply. Now understand this. That desire did not originate from you as a mere mortal being. That desire is God himself knocking at the door of your consciousness, seeking expression through. But here's where most of you failed. You treat your desires as something external to be achieved, rather than an already existing reality to be assumed. You say, I want to be successful, but continue to wear the garment of doubt and limitation. Let me share with you a profound secret about manifestation. The secret lies not in the doing, but in the assumption. What you desire is already yours in what I call the fourth dimensional world, the world of consciousness. Your task is not to make it happen, but to assume the feeling of its accomplishment. You see, when you doubt yourself, you are actually denying your own divine nature. You are saying to the God within, I do not believe in your power expressing through me. Can you see the magnitude of this error? Every time you entertain a doubt, you are choosing to live in a state of consciousness that contradicts your desires. It's like planting seeds while simultaneously believing they won't grow. Your doubt negates your prayer. Let me tell you about the law that governs all manifestation. Consciousness is the only reality. Whatever you consciousness to be true, whatever state you occupy in consciousness, must objectify itself in your world. This is not theory. This is law. Most of you have been taught to combat doubt with positive thinking. But I tell you this, positive thinking is not enough. You must move beyond thinking to knowing. You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You see, the universe responds not to your words or your actions, but to your assumptions. When you truly assume a state, you need not concern yourself with the how. The how will be taken care of by powers and wisdom far greater than your mortal mind can conceive. Let me share with you the true meaning of faith. Faith is not believing that something will happen. Faith is assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled before any evidence appears in the external world. That is the faith that moves mountains. Consider for a moment, when you go to sleep at night, do you doubt that the sun will rise tomorrow? No, you rest in complete assurance of this fact. This is how you must treat your desires. Your doubts are merely habits of consciousness that can be replaced with absolute knowing. I tell you this, the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation. When you assume the feeling of being what you want to be, you're actually entering into the state of consciousness that will externalize that desire. This is the ancient meaning of ye shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. You see, most of you are waiting for something external to give you permission to be what you desire to be. But I tell you with absolute certainty, The only permission you need is your own assumption. The only authority is just your own I am. Let me share with you a profound truth about your I am. Your I am is God himself individualized in you. When you say I am, you are proclaiming the name of God. Therefore, whatever you attach to your I am, you are creating as reality. But here is where most of you falter. You say I am, and then attach to it all your limitations, all your doubts, all your past failures. I am not good enough. I am not ready. I am not worthy. Do you not see that you are using the creative power of the universe to create what you do not want? Tonight, I urge you to make a fundamental shift in your consciousness. Instead of saying, I want or I hope or I will, begin to assume I am. For in that assumption lies all the power of creation. You see, the difference between success and failure lies not in external circumstances, but in this simple shift of consciousness. The successful person is not one who has no doubts, but one who has learned to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled despite apparent contradictions. Let me tell you about the law of assumption. When you assume a state, the whole world must reshape itself to accommodate your assumption. This is not positive thinking. This is cosmic law. Most of you have been taught to look at the world and then form your conclusions. But I tell you this, reverse the process. Form your assumption first, and the world will reshape itself to match your assumption. Consider this. Every great achievement in human history began with someone assuming a state that contradicted external evidence. They dared to assume what others called impossible. You see, your outer world is nothing more than your inner world pushed out. Every doubt you entertain, every limitation you accept, must externalize itself in your experience. This is law. Let me share with you the secret of eliminating doubt. You do not fight doubt. You simply assume a new state. When you occupy a new state in consciousness, the old state of doubt must die of neglect. You must understand this. Your consciousness is the only reality. Therefore, what you are conscious of being, you must become. This is why doubting yourself is such a grievous error. You are literally assuming a state of limitation. I want you to grasp this fundamental truth. The state of consciousness from which you operate is everything. When you doubt yourself, you are viewing life from a state of consciousness that must, by law, produce evidence of its own reality. You see, most of you are trying to change your lives while remaining in the same state of consciousness. This is like trying to produce apples while planting orange seeds. It is against law. Let me tell you about the true meaning of state. A state is not a fleeting thought or emotion. It is the consciousness from which you view the world. When you enter a state, you see only what that state dictates you must see. Consider this profound truth. Your present circumstances are nothing more than your previous states of consciousness objectified. Therefore, to change your future, you must change your state now. Most of you say, when my circumstances change, I will feel different. But I tell you this, you must feel different first, and then your circumstances will change to match your new feeling. You see, what you call reality is merely a shadow, a reflection of your state of consciousness. When you doubt yourself, you are actually doubting the infinite power that beats your heart and grows your fingernails. Let me share with you the secret of sustained transformation. You must learn to live from your desired state now. Not tomorrow, not when conditions improve, but now. This very moment. Most of you are waiting for something external to change before you change your concept of self. But I tell you this, nothing external can change until you change your concept of self. Consider carefully what I'm telling you. Your concept of self is your destiny. Whatever you believe yourself to be, you will become. This is not philosophy, this is law. You see, when you go after what you want while maintaining a consciousness of doubt, you are working against yourself. It's like driving with one foot on the accelerator and one on the brake. Let me tell you about the power of assumption. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are actually experiencing your desire in the only place it can first exist, in consciousness. Most of you think your desires are out there somewhere, waiting to be achieved. But I tell you this, Your desires exist now in consciousness, waiting to be assumed into reality. You see, every desire you have is actually God's desire to express more of himself through you. Therefore, when you doubt your ability to achieve your desire, you are doubting God himself. Consider this. The oak tree exists in the acorn long before it becomes visible to human eyes. Similarly, your desired reality exists in consciousness before it becomes visible in your world. Let me share with you a profound truth about consciousness that few understand. When you say, I can't, or it's too difficult, you are not describing reality. You are creating it. Your words are decrees that must manifest by law. You see, the universe knows no difference between what you call possible and impossible. It only knows what you decree through your conscious assumptions. When you assume I can't, you are using the same creative power as when you assume I can. Consider this. Every time you entertain a doubt, you are actually praying for what you do not want. For prayer is not begging an external God, but feeling and assuming the reality of what you desire. Most of you have turned your creative power against yourselves through doubt and self-limitation. You say, I'm trying. But in consciousness, there is no trying. Let me tell you about the true nature of creation. Creation is finished. All possible states exist now. Your task is not to create what you want, but to select and occupy the state that contains your desire. You see, when you go after what you want with doubt in your heart, you are attempting to enter two states at once. The state of having and the state of lacking. This is impossible. Consider carefully what I'm saying. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot dwell in the state of doubt and the state of fulfillment simultaneously. You must choose. Most of you think you must first see evidence before you can believe. But I tell you this. What you see is the result of what you have been believing. To change what you see, you must change what you believe. Let me share with you the secret of effective action. All action must proceed from the right state of consciousness. Action without the correct state is futile. You see, when you take action from a state of doubt, you are actually reinforcing the very state you wish to leave. Your actions are merely expressing your current state of consciousness. Consider this. Everything in your world is yourself pushed out. Your doubt, your fear, your limitation, all are states you have occupied and are now seeing reflected back to you. Most of you are trying to change your world while maintaining the same conception of self. This is like trying to project a different image while using the same slide in the projector. Let me tell you about the law of consciousness. Whatever you are conscious of being, you will become. This is why entertaining doubts is such a serious matter. You are literally becoming your doubts. You see, your consciousness is God's gift to you. It is the creative power through which you shape your entire existence. When you doubt, you are misusing this divine gift. Consider this profound truth. In consciousness, there is no process. Things do not gradually become. They are. When you truly assume a state, you are in that state, and everything that belongs to that state must follow. You see, most of you believe in time as a creative force. But I tell you this, time is merely a device for postponing what exists now in consciousness. Your assumption, if sustained, is far more powerful than time. Let me tell you about the true nature of desire. The very presence of a desire is proof of its fulfillment. For how could you desire something if it did not already exist in consciousness? Most of you treat your desires as something to be achieved through struggle and effort. But I tell you this, your desire is actually God's remembrance of what you already are in the eternal now. Consider carefully what I'm saying. When you doubt your ability to achieve something, you are actually doubting the wisdom that gave you the desire in the first place. Can you see the contradiction? You see, every doubt you entertain is a denial of your own divine nature. It's saying to God, I do not believe in your power expressing through me. This is the true meaning of sin. Let me share with you the secret of effortless achievement. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the power that created the universe. All things then work together for the externalization of your assumption. Most of you believe you must battle against circumstances to achieve your desires. But I tell you this, Your circumstances are nothing but the shadow of your consciousness. Change your consciousness and circumstances must change. Consider this. Every great achievement began with someone daring to assume a state that contradicted current circumstances. They understood that circumstances bow to consciousness. You see, when you go after what you want while maintaining a consciousness of doubt, you are working against universal law. For the law states that consciousness is the only reality. Let me tell you about the power of persistence and assumption. It is not enough to assume your desire for a moment. You must persist until your assumption hardens into fact. Most of you abandon your assumption at the first sign of contradiction. But I tell you this, the very presence of contradiction is proof that your new assumption is taking root. Consider carefully. When you plant a seed in the ground, the first response of the soil is to show you more dirt. Would you then dig up the seed and declare it a failure? You see, the same law operates in consciousness. When you plant the seed of a new assumption, the first response of your world may be to show you evidence of the old state. This is law. Let me tell you the ultimate truth about manifestation. Your world is nothing more than your consciousness objectified. Therefore, the only place where true change can occur is in consciousness. Consider this final wisdom. You never attract what you want. You attract what you are. When you understand this, you will cease trying to change things in the outer world and focus all your attention on changing your state of consciousness. You see, your consciousness is like a radio broadcasting station. Whatever frequency you broadcast through your assumptions, the universe must return to you in physical form. This is immutable law. Most of you spend your lives trying to change the pictures on the screen while ignoring the projector. But I'll tell you this. Change a slide in the projector of consciousness, and the pictures must change. Let me share with you this ultimate secret of achievement. Success is not something you pursue. It is something you attract by the person you become in consciousness. When you cease doubting and assume the consciousness of already being what you desire to be, your world must reshape itself accordingly. You see, every moment of your life, you are choosing a state of consciousness to occupy. Choose wisely, for your entire world springs from this choice. Consider this final truth. You are not a mere human being seeking a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. When you truly grasp this, all doubt must vanish. Tonight, I urge you to make this supreme decision. Decide what you want to be and assume that you are it now. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. For now is the only time there is. Remember this, Watts? The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation. Whatever you desire, assume the feeling that would be yours if you already had it. You see, doubt is nothing but sleeping in the state of limitation. Wake up. Assume your desired state now. Feel its reality. Live from it. Breathe it for what you feel you create. Let this be your sacred moment of decision. Choose now to stop doubting yourself. Choose to assume the state of consciousness that implies your wish is fulfilled. Choose to live as though your prayers are already answered. For I tell you this with absolute certainty. The world has no choice but to mirror back to you what you decree in consciousness. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is law. Remember, you are the operant power in your world. No one else can assume your desired state for you. No one else can live in the end for you. This is your grand opportunity, your divine responsibility. Therefore, go forth now in this knowledge. Let every doubt fall away like autumn leaves. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Live from that assumption. For in this lies the secret of all creation. For when you cease doubting and start living from the end, when you persist in your assumption despite all evidence to the contrary, when you remain faithful to your chosen state, then, and only then, will you experience the truth that all things are possible to him who believes. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the way. And now, having shared these eternal truths with you, I leave you with this final thought. The life you dream of is not waiting for you in some distant future. It exists now in consciousness, waiting for you to assume it into expression. The choice is yours. The time is now. The power is within you. Thank you.
Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract everything they desire, while others struggle their entire lives? The secret I'm about to share with you transformed my entire existence, and today I show you exactly how to do the same. Close your eyes for a moment. Yes, right now. Feel what it would be like to already have everything you've ever dreamed of. Not tomorrow, not next year, but right now. This feeling, this is your key to unlocking a reality most people will never experience. I discovered something profound about the human mind that changed everything. You see, your outer world is nothing but a reflection of your inner conversations. Every single thought you think, every feeling you hold is creating your reality right now. Not metaphorically, literally. Let me share a personal experience. Years ago, I lived in a tiny apartment, barely making ends meet. But every night before sleep, I would lie in my bed and feel the sensation of sleeping in a luxurious home. I wouldn't just visualize it, I would feel the soft sheets, smell the fresh air, hear the peaceful silence. Within months, circumstances rearranged themselves mysteriously, and I found myself living in exactly such a home. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for something external to change their reality. They're waiting for permission, for the right moment for someone to notice them. But I'm here to tell you, the power has always been within you. You are the operant power of your reality. When you walk into a room, do you feel like a guest or like you own the space? This isn't about arrogance. It's about understanding your true nature. You are the awareness in which all experiences occur. Once you grasp this, everything changes. Think about the last time you wanted something deeply. Did you spend more time feeling the lack of it or feeling the joy of having it? This is where most people go wrong. They focus on the absence, the wanting, the needing. But the secret is to feel the presence of what you desire, even before it appears in your physical reality. I used to think success was about working harder, pushing more, struggling more. But then I discovered that success leaves clues, not in actions, but in states of consciousness. The successful don't succeed and then feel successful. They feel successful first, and then success naturally follows. Every night before you sleep, your consciousness enters a state where it's most impressionable. This is your golden hour. Instead of reviewing your day's problems or tomorrow's worries, use this time to feel the reality you wish to experience. Feel it so deeply that your body believes it's already happened. The world you see is nothing more than your assumptions materialized. Change your assumptions and you change your world. It's that simple. Yet most will never grasp this truth because they're too busy looking for complexity. Let me tell you something about desire. Every desire you have is already yours. It exists right now in what I call infinite states of possibility. Your job isn't to figure out how to get it. Your job is to naturally assume the state of having it. Most people live life as if they're victims of circumstances. They react to what happens to them. But once you understand what I'm sharing with you, you'll realize that circumstances are responding to you. You are the creator of your reality, not its victim. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you feel? Is it dread about the day ahead, or is it excitement for the wonderful things unfolding in your life? This first feeling sets the tone for your entire day. Choose it wisely. I spent years studying human consciousness, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, your imagination is the preview of life's coming attractions. Whatever you imagine yourself to be, you will become. This isn't positive thinking, this is law. Think about something you want right now. Really think about it. Now, instead of wondering how to get it, ask yourself, how would I feel if I already had this? Feel that feeling. Let it permeate every cell of your body. This is manifestation in action. Most people live in a perpetual state of waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for permission, waiting for signs. But I'm telling you, the perfect moment is now. The permission comes from within. And the only sign you need is your desire itself. Your breath right now, it carries the power to transform your entire existence. Take a deep breath. Feel the life force moving through you. This simple act contains more power than most people will ever realize. Every breath is an affirmation of your creative power. When you walk down the street, what do you see? Do you see a world of limitations or a world of infinite possibilities? The difference isn't in the world, it's in your perception. Change your perception, and the world transforms before your eyes. I've watched countless people sabotage their desires by talking about them constantly. They discuss, analyze, and worry about their dreams until they drain all the power from them. Instead, hold your desires sacred. Let them germinate in silence. Think about how you handle disappointment. Do you let it define your future? Or do you understand that it's merely a reflection of past thoughts? Every situation you face today was created by your past assumptions. Change your assumptions today and you change your tomorrow. Most people live life through their memory, constantly recycling past experiences to predict their future. But I'm telling you, memory is the enemy of creation. The past has no power unless you give it power through your attention. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Do you see your current circumstances? Or do you see the person you've decided to be? This isn't about delusion. It's about understanding that your self-concept shapes everything in your experience. I've observed that people who struggle always have one thing in common. They place their faith in external conditions. But those who consistently succeed understand that conditions don't create consciousness. Consciousness creates conditions. Your mental diet is more important than your physical diet. What thoughts are you feeding yourself hourly? What inner conversations are you having? These are the seeds of your future experience. Plant them wisely. Most never realize that their current circumstances are nothing but harvests of past mental seeds. If you don't like what you're harvesting, change what you're planting. It's that simple. Think about the last time you achieved something significant. Did you achieve it and then feel confident? Or did you feel confident first? I'll tell you the truth. The feeling always precedes the manifestation. When you go to sleep tonight, remember, your subconscious mind never sleeps. It's always working, always creating according to your dominant thoughts and feelings. Make your last thoughts before sleep count. I've seen people spend years trying to change their circumstances while maintaining the same self-concept. It's like trying to drive forward while looking in the rearview mirror. Your self-concept is everything. Consider how you speak about your future. Do you speak with certainty or with hope? Hope is a confession of uncertainty. Speak of your desires as done, as finished, as already existing in your world. Most people think visualization is about seeing pictures in their mind. But true visualization is about feeling. Feel the reality of your desire so deeply that your body can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. Your emotions are not reactions to the world. They are instructions to the world. When you truly understand this, you'll never again waste your emotional power on unwanted situations. Think about the way you dress, the way you carry yourself. Are you dressing for where you are or for where you're going? Your external world will always arrange itself to match your internal assumptions. I've watched people pray for things while simultaneously feeling unworthy of receiving them. Your worthiness isn't something you earn, it's something you accept. Accept it now. Most never grasp that their very existence is proof of their worthiness. You didn't have to earn your right to exist, and you don't have to earn your right to prosper. Consider how you handle money. Do you clutch it tightly from fear of loss? Or do you handle it with relaxed confidence? Your relationship with money reveals your deeper assumptions about abundance. Your attention is your most precious currency. Where are you spending it? Every moment you focus on what's wrong in your life is a moment you could be creating what's right. Choose your focus deliberately. I've watched people wait for conditions to change while their inner state remains the same. But I tell you, this external change is impossible without internal change. Start with your consciousness and watch the world reshape itself around you. Think about the music you listen to, the shows you watch, the conversations you entertain. Everything is either supporting your desired state or keeping you from it. There is no neutral ground in consciousness. Most people live life as if they're passengers in someone else's vehicle. But you're not a passenger, you're the driver. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption is steering your life in a specific direction. When you eat, are you eating like someone who respects their body, who expects health and vitality? Even this simple act carries creative power. Your entire life is a statement of your assumptions about yourself. I've observed that successful manifestation isn't about forcing change. It's about allowing your natural state to express itself. You don't have to make things happen. You have to let them happen through your changed consciousness. Consider your bedroom. Is it arranged like the bedroom of someone who has already achieved their dreams? Your environment is a perfect reflection of your inner state. Change one, and you change the other. Most never realize that their physical energy is directly connected to their mental state. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you'll find yourself naturally taking the actions that support that assumption. Think about how you answer the phone. Is it with the confidence of someone who expects good news? Or with the apprehension of someone bracing for problems? These subtle choices shape your reality. Your posture tells a story. Are you carrying yourself like someone who knows their own power? Or like someone waiting for permission to exist? Your body responds to your assumptions about yourself. I've watched people torture themselves with what if scenarios of failure. But what if works both ways? What if everything you want is already yours? What if success is your natural state? Consider how you handle criticism. Do you defend yourself or do you remain secure in your own self-concept? When you know who you are, other people's opinions lose their power over you. Most people think they need to change their actions first, their feelings second, and their thoughts last. But the order is exactly opposite. Change your thoughts, and everything else follows naturally. I think about your morning routine. Is it rushed and reactive, or is it deliberate and creative? The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. When you look at successful people, do you feel inspired or envious? Your reaction reveals whether you're viewing from the state of having or the state of wanting. Choose the state of having. I've seen people spend years accumulating knowledge while their lives remain unchanged. Knowledge without application is like food without digestion. It provides no nourishment. Consider your self-talk. Are you your own best friend or your worst critic? The voice in your head is creating your future. Make it a voice of encouragement and certainty. Most never grasp that relaxation is the key to manifestation. The tighter you grip your desires, the more they elude you. Learn to rest in the certainty of your creative power. You think about your past failures. Are they anchors holding you back or stepping stones leading you forward? Your interpretation of past events determines their power over your future. Consider your breathing right now. Is it shallow and tense or deep and confident? Your breath pattern reflects your state of consciousness. Change your breath, change your bait. I've watched countless people chase success in the outer world while neglecting their inner world. But success is an inside job. When you're aligned internally, external success becomes inevitable. Think about the way you end your day. Are you reviewing problems or are you dwelling in gratitude? The state in which you fall asleep becomes the fertile soil for tomorrow's manifestations. Most people approach their desires with a sense of struggle. But I tell you this, struggle is optional. When you're in the right state of consciousness, things unfold naturally, effortlessly. Your voice carries your consciousness. When you speak, do sound like someone who knows their power or someone seeking approval. Your tone reveals your self-concept to the world. I've observed that people who struggle with manifestation often have one thing in common. They're too focused on the process rather than the end state. Feel the end, and the means will take care of themselves. Consider your relationship with time. Do you feel rushed, like there's never enough? Or do you move through your day with the calm certainty that perfect timing is working for you? Most never realize that their level of relaxation directly correlates with their manifestation power. Tension is resistance. Learn to remain relaxed even while pursuing your biggest dreams. Think about your workspace. Is it organized like someone who's already successful, or does it reflect chaos and uncertainty? Your external space mirrors your internal state. When you make decisions, do you decide from your current circumstances or from your desired state? The state from which you make decisions determines the outcomes you'll experience. I've watched people sabotage their manifestations by constantly checking for results. Trust is essential. Plant the seed and let it grow in darkness. Consider how you handle unexpected events. Do you react with frustration, or do you understand that all events are working together for your good? Most people live in constant preparation mode, always getting ready to live. But life is now. Your power is now. Stop preparing and start being. I think about your evenings. Are they filled with mindless activities? Or do you use this time to reinforce your desired state? Every moment is an opportunity to strengthen your new self-concept. Your walking pace reveals your state of mind. Are you rushing through life or moving with purposeful confidence? Even this simple aspect of your behavior shapes your reality. I've seen people waste years trying to control external circumstances while leaving their mental state unchanged. Start with your mind and watch circumstances conform to your new thinking. Consider your social media habits. Are they supporting your desired state or keeping you locked in old patterns? Every input affects your consciousness. Most never grasp that manifestation isn't about getting what you want, it's about becoming the person who naturally has what you want. Think about your weekend activities. Do they align with your desired reality, or are they mere distractions from your current circumstances? Every morning when you open your eyes, that first thought sets the tone for your entire day. Are you waking up with gratitude or with dread? This single moment has more power than most realize. I've observed that successful manifestation isn't about forcing yourself to think positive thoughts. It's about naturally embodying the state of someone who already has what you desire. Think about your shopping habits. Do you buy things from a state of lack, trying to fill a void, or from a state of abundance, enhancing what's already complete? Every purchase is a statement of your self-concept. Most people approach their goals like they're climbing a mountain, struggling, straining, forcing. But I tell you this, when you're in the right state, opportunities flow to you like water flowing downhill. Your handwriting reveals your state of consciousness. Is it rushed and chaotic or confident and clear? Even these small details reflect and affect your manifestation power. I've watched people spend years trying to network their way to success while neglecting the most important network of all, their inner conversation network. Consider how you handle your keys. Do you frantically search for them each morning? Or do you maintain order like someone who values their time and energy? These daily habits shape your reality. Most never realize that their physical space is a direct reflection of their mental space. A cluttered environment creates a cluttered mind. Clear your space. Clear your path to manifestation. Think about your relationship with sleep. Do you see it as just rest, or do you recognize it as the powerful manifestation time it truly is? Your last thoughts before sleep are seeds planted in fertile soil. When you look at your reflection, do you see who you are or who you're becoming? Your self-image creates your reality. Choose it consciously. I've observed that people who struggle with manifestation often have one common trait. They're too attached to how things will happen. Let go of the how. Focus on the end state. Consider your shower routine. Is it rushed and mechanical? Or do you use this time to feel the abundance of life flowing over you? Every moment carries manifestation potential. Most people live life on autopilot, letting their subconscious programming run the show. But when you become conscious of your states, you become the deliberate creator of your reality. Think about your reading habits. Are you consuming information that reinforces your desired state? Or are you filling your mind with content that keeps you stuck in old patterns? Your walking posture tells a story. Are you moving through the world like someone who knows their power? Or like someone trying to avoid being noticed? Your body language shapes your reality. I have watched people waste precious energy worrying about things they can't control, while neglecting the one thing they can control, their state of consciousness. Consider how you handle disappointments. Do they shake your faith in your creative power? Or do you understand that they're just feedback, helping you refine your manifestation skills? Most never grasp that their current circumstances are nothing but the shadow of past thoughts. Change your thoughts today, and you change your reality tomorrow. Think about your evening routine. Are you using these precious hours to reinforce your desired state? Or are you letting your mind wander into states of worry and lack? Your daily rituals are either reinforcing your desired state or keeping you trapped in the old. Even the way you make your bed in the morning is a statement about who you believe yourself to be. I've noticed that those who struggle often focus on what they're doing, while those who succeed focus on who they're being. Being precedes doing, and doing precedes having. Think about your response to good news. Do you accept it as natural and expected, or do you react with surprise? Your reaction reveals your deep-seated expectations about life. Most people live in a state of constant preparation, always getting ready for something better. But I tell you this, the time for living your best life is now, not in some imagined future. Consider your shower routine. Are you merely cleaning your body, or are you using this time to cleanse your mind of limiting beliefs? Every moment carries transformative potential. I've watched people delay their happiness, thinking they need to achieve something first. But happiness isn't a destination. It's a state you choose now that attracts achievements to you. Think about your relationship with silence. Are you comfortable in it? Or do you fill every moment with noise? In silence, your creative power grows strongest. Most never realize that their current circumstances are like a shadow. They lag behind their consciousness. Change your consciousness first, and circumstances must follow. Your handwriting reveals your self-concept. Do you announce your name with authority, or do you scribble it apologetically? These subtle expressions shape your reality. I've observed that successful manifestation isn't about forcing change. It's about assuming the natural state of what you desire and letting it express itself through you. Consider how you answer when someone asks how you are. Is your response automatic, or do you consciously choose words that align with your desired state? Most people think manifesting is about getting something new, but it's really about aligning with what already exists in infinite possibility. Think about your evening routine. Are you consciously programming your subconscious mind, or letting random thoughts shape your tomorrow? Your physical space is broadcasting your consciousness. Look around you. What story is your environment telling about who you believe yourself to be? I've watched people exhaust themselves trying to change their world while their self-concept remains unchanged. Start with your self-concept and watch your world transform effortlessly. Consider your relationship with mirrors. Do you avoid your reflection, or do you use every glimpse as an opportunity to reinforce your desired state? Most never grasp that their outer world is simply responding to their inner conversations. Change the conversation, change the response. Think about how you handle delays and setbacks. Do you see them as obstacles, or as perfect timing rearranged circumstances in your favor? Your sleep quality reflects your consciousness. Are you sleeping peacefully in the assumption of your desires fulfilled, or tossing in worry about what's missing? The way you open doors, is it with hesitation or with the natural confidence of someone who belongs wherever they choose to be? These subtle movements reveal and reinforce your self-concept. I've noticed that manifestation becomes effortless when you stop trying to manifest and simply become the person who naturally has what you desire. Think about your relationship with waiting. Do you see it as dead time, or do you recognize it as valuable moments to reinforce your desired state? Most people approach their desires like they're begging the universe for favors. But I tell you this, you're not a beggar, you're the operant power of your reality. Consider how you handle your finances. Do you check your bank account with anxiety, or with the calm certainty of someone who knows abundance is their natural state? I've watched people sabotage their manifestations by constantly talking about them, diluting their power through excessive sharing. Some seeds need silence to grow. Think about your morning phase. When you first look in the mirror, do you see problems to be fixed? Or do you recognize the face of someone who's already living their dreams? Most never realize that their physical MG is directly connected to their assumed state. When you assume the right state, vitality flows naturally. Your choice of words shapes your reality. Are you trying to achieve something, or are you naturally becoming it? These subtle distinctions make all the difference. I've observed that successful manifestation has nothing to do with force and everything to do with alignment. When you're aligned, things flow effortlessly. Consider your relationship with exercise. Is it punishment for what you ate or celebration of what your body can do? Your intention shapes your experience. Most people think they need to change their world to feel different. But the opposite is true. Change how you feel and watch your world transform. Think about your relationship with time. Do you feel like you're racing against it or dancing with it? Your perception of time affects your manifestation power. Your breathing pattern reveals your state of consciousness. Are you breathing from a state of lack or a state of change your breath, change your state? I've watched people waste years trying to prove their worth to others while never accepting their own inherent worthiness. Start with self-acceptance. Consider how you handle criticism. Does it shake your faith in your desired state? Or does it slide off you like water off a duck's back? Most never grasp that their current circumstances are just echoes of past assumptions. Change your assumptions today, and new echoes will follow. Think about your relationship with food. Are you eating from a state of lack and guilt, or from a state of nourishment and appreciation? Your voice carries your consciousness. When you speak, does your tone convey certainty or doubt? Even this affects your manifestation power. When you wake up each morning, that first stretch, that first conscious breath, is not just your body awakening, it's your creative power coming online. How are you using this precious moment? I've seen countless people chase success externally while internally holding on to doubt. But success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming its natural match. Think about your relationship with food. Are you eating like someone who values and respects their body? Or are you eating from stress and lack? Every meal is an affirmation. Most people live life reacting to what happens to them. But once you understand your creative power, you realize that what happens through you is far more important than what happens to you. Consider your choice of words when you speak about your future. Are you using definite, confident language? Or are you hedging with maybe and hopefully? Your words program your reality. I have observed that the most powerful manifestations often come when you've completely released the need for them. Attachment creates resistance. Detachment allows flow. You think about how you handle unexpected changes. Do you resist them? Or do you understand that all change is working together for your highest good? Most never realize that their current problems are simply their past assumptions made visible. Change your assumptions today, and you change your visible world tomorrow. Your breathing pattern throughout the day reveals your deep-seated beliefs. Shallow, anxious breathing reflects doubt. Deep, confident breathing reflects certainty. I've watched people spend years trying to manifest while constantly talking about their struggles. Remember, what you speak about persistently persists. Consider how you handle money. You treat small amounts with the same respect as large amounts. Your relationship with little things determines your experience with big things. Most people think they need to feel worthy before they can receive their desires. But worthiness isn't something you earn. It's your natural state when you stop denying it. How do you regard your morning preparations? Are you preparing yourself like someone who expects greatness today? Or like someone just trying to get by? Your walking pace tells a story. Are you rushing through life from a sense of lack? Or moving with purposeful confidence, knowing all is well? I've observed that those who struggle most with manifestation often have one thing in common. They're too focused on what's missing rather than what's present. Consider your response to compliments. Do you deflect them, or do you accept them as natural confirmations of who you know yourself to be? Most never grasp that their physical senses are showing them the world that was, not the world that is becoming through their changed consciousness. Think about your relationship with time. Are you always racing against it or moving in harmony with it, knowing perfect timing is working for you? Your facial expression carries creative power. Are you wearing the expression of someone living their dreams or someone still waiting for life to begin?